I had a dream several years ago, and it's on my YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel is under my name, but it was called Texas, Texas, Texas. And the interesting thing in that dream is I didn't put it on the video because I didn't remember, but there was a reference to I-35, a highway, I-35 in that dream. But what made that so interesting is I have no knowledge of Texas highways at all. And I've been there 2 or 3 times in years past, but I have no natural knowledge of Texas highways. And then early this morning, I had a dream, and I don't really know the significance. It was one of my school bus nightmare dreams. I call them bus mares. And it was just this disastrous, crazy, exhausting dream. And there was, I don't even know what's important here, but there was, well, first of all, there was a 2-week trip to Italy. I don't know if that was in the same dream or if it started and then reconnected with the bus dream. But I know that in the bus dream, I knew that I had just been to Italy for 2 weeks. And in this dream, though, it's so chaotic, but I'm going to be driving a flat-nose, snub-nose, or flat-nose bus with students, but I don't even know what their ages were. And I was going to be driving them to Wichita. There was some sort of game. There was some sort of game at 7 p.m. And I think we left sometime after 3:30. And, I mean, this bus, it was ridiculous, the whole thing. It wasn't anything like reality would be. There were all these, just crazy events along the way. And, nothing makes sense. I mean, driving a bus downstairs or backing up a bus inside a building, none of these things make sense. But that's not what my focus is. The thing is, once again, we're on highway, or I don't know if you call it highway, whatever, highway 14, right? And I don't know, it's not like I know where we were leaving from, but I just know we were taking Highway 14 to Wichita. And I have no knowledge of Kansas highways. I've been to Kansas. I went to Kansas in 1978 for a funeral to Wichita. And I've probably been in the tip of Kansas a couple times years back, but I don't know their highways, is the point. So in this dream, we are taking Highway 14 north to go to Wichita for this 7 o'clock game. Well, there was protests about this because this game was not kind of in the normal circuit or network of games, so people thought this game should not happen. And what ends up happening is on the way there, we apparently, all the kids start leaving the bus. They start getting out. And I think it's because of my driving, because we just are having these crazy driving events. You know what I mean? Just out of control. But it wasn't that. It was that the game had been canceled by the other side. And actually by a student on the other side. The game had been canceled. So we hadn't even reached Wichita. And we hadn't even reached Wichita. So now we go through this crazy rigmarole of going through just ridiculous roads and buildings and everything, and downstairs, and just all kinds of scenarios trying to get back on Highway 14 South to leave. Like I said, we hadn't even made it to Wichita. And this man tells us, he says, well, we're having such a hard time just going down all these roads trying to find the highway back. And he says, well, that's because we have 16 railroads. And there's all these little 16 communities of all these little railroads. And all these communities were built, I guess, kind of like little communities, one at a time. And they're inhibiting our progress and making it longer to get back on the highway. That's what he told us, right? And McDonald's is in the dream because I stopped to go to the bathroom at McDonald's, I think. Anyway, so finally at the end of the dream, finally, we find someone directs us to Highway 14 South to head back. But the bus was number 10. And the bus belonged to a girl named Joyce. And I know Joyce worked, when I drove here in Tulsa for a couple years, Joyce worked where I worked. And she was kind of a tough girl and a bit tough. And I was like, man, if I screw up her bus, you know, she's not going to be happy. Even though this bus is crazy. It has a bench for a seat in the front. And sometimes the steering wheel isn't even, it's crazy. It's just crazy. But I'm thinking, you know, gosh, you know, she's going to be upset if I mess up her bus for this. But anyway, that is just very interesting to me that once again, just like I had no natural knowledge of I-35, I don't know the highways in Texas, this time it was Kansas, Highway 14. So, of course, when I wake up, I get on Google, and sure enough, there's a Highway 14 in Kansas. And that is not something I know in the natural. So, whether Wichita has any significance and all that may not even have significance. I don't know. It could just be sometimes in dreams like this when you're given information that you can't know in the natural. Maybe it's just a confirmation that I'm heading in the right direction, or that I'm hearing, you know, that I am hearing accurately from the Lord. I don't know, but I thought that was very interesting.